Backlash 2025. Time for the wrestling. It's your boy Icon with a wrestling television review for you, going over that WWE Backlash 2025. And before we get started, hit that notification bell, like and or subscribe. Check out my other reviews so we can get those watch time hours up. And let's talk about a little Backlash, because this was an interesting pay-per-view. And I think we only had 5 or 6 matches, and a lot of people were complaining that it was a short pay-per-view, and they're like, why so little matches? But honestly, I understand a little bit where Triple H is coming from, because not only did they have Backlash in the month of May, but we're also doing an episode of Saturday Night Main Event. And if you put all the big matches on Backlash, what are you going to do for Saturday night's main event that people are going to care about? And I like having, because you have 2 world champions, you got Jey Uso and you have John Cena, I like having it where one person gets to main event the pay-per-view and the other person gets to main event Saturday night's main event. I think that's actually really good. So it's almost like if Triple H was just like, well, I got 12 matches I want to do for the pay-per-view in the month of May, we'll just put 6 of those on main event and put the other 6 on the pay-per-view. So I'm perfectly fine with that. But this pay-per-view was very mid-championship heavy. All the mid-card championships, with the exception of Zelina Vega, got defended. No tag team belts got defended, and only 1 heavyweight championship match. But overall, this was a very enjoyable pay-per-view. It had 2 matches specifically that I wanted to see, which was the women's IC and the Gunther Pat McAfee match. But before we get into that, we're going to start with the first match, which was the Fatal 4-Way for the United States Championship, which was Damian Priest, Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, and Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre was in the mix. So, it was a typical Fatal 4-Way match. Let's be real. We all knew Jacob Fatu wasn't going to lose this match, but it was how we got to the victory that I thought was the most meaningful. Because earlier in the show, on the pre-show, Solo Sikoa had came up to him and he was like, "Oh, we got to do," or maybe it was SmackDown, I forget. He came up to him. He was like, "Oh, we got to do something for the Fatal 4-Way. We need to come up with a plan." And then he was like, "The only plan is for me to mow him down because I'm all gas, no brakes." I started laughing, but. So he came out, they're fighting. Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest kind of focused more on themselves. I feel like LA Knight was the only person who was legitimately focused on the United States Championship. Everybody had other personal agendas. But towards the end of the match, we ended up getting interference from Solo Sikoa. And that brought in the next wave of the Samoan dynasty, which was a gentleman named, they were calling him Cobb. I don't know him from the Independents, but apparently he is one of the Samoan family. Now, they kept calling their crew the Bloodline. They were just like, "Oh, a new member of the Bloodline, the Bloodline." I thought the Bloodline, the new Bloodline, I thought that was over when Roman Reigns beat Solo Sikoa. I thought that after Roman Reigns got the victory, that whole new Bloodline thing is over now, because it was supposed to be Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa, and the Tongans. I thought we were done with this. Why are they still being allowed to call themselves the Bloodline when Roman Reigns is the tribal chief? So unless Roman just doesn't give a shit what they do, I don't know. I feel like that was never explained, but we got a new guy in the mix, and he beat up some people. He basically caused the interference that was needed for Jacob Fatu to pick up the victory, to get to retain the United States Championship. But Jacob wasn't happy about that, because he kind of he was just I need no help. They even asked him about it in the press conference afterwards, and he was like, "Yo, it is what it is. We'll talk about that later." That was his favorite line of the whole product. But then he was like, "Yo, it is what it is. We'll talk about it later." You know what I mean? But Jacob Fatu is still your United States heavyweight champion. Next match was the second match. It was big time Bex the Man versus Lyra Valkyria, still coming out with her bird costume, which I do like, I do enjoy. And this is one of those situations where it wasn't that, just to make the Women's Intercontinental Championship more relevant, we're going to put the belt on a big star like Becky Lynch. This was more of, let's use a big star like Becky Lynch to put more prestige and value on the Intercontinental Women's Champion, because Lyra took one hell of a beating in this match, and she kept coming back for more. To the point where she won over the crowd after a while. There was a moment where the crowd was just looking at Becky Lynch yeah, Becky's going to steamroll her. But once they saw that Lyra was fighting, once they saw the grit and determination from Lyra Valkyria, the fans actually got on Lyra's side after a while. There was a moment where Becky beat her up against the barricade, and apparently she beat her up she beat Lyra up in front of Lyra's fiance, because he was in the front row at ringside, and they showed the fiance. And then when the camera showed her fiance, I just thought to myself, wow, I had a shot. So, but anyway, but like I said, but the girl did her thing. She won over the audience, and she put she put respect on herself and the Women's Intercontinental Championship as a prize that needs to be fought for. So I definitely want to see more of that going forward, because now everybody should be coming for this woman to see if they can take the belt off of her. She beat Becky Lynch, she got the pinfall on her. She got poked in the eye, and then afterwards Becky beat her ass like after the match, so she did get beat up. I thought Bayley was gonna come out. Bayley didn't show up, but again, like then the management in the back, like they got Becky off of her, and then Lyra just stood tall, like holding the belt up over her head, like she's not stood tall, but she was like her head was like held down because she got the shit kicked out of her, but she held the belt up, although she got beaten, she held the belt up, and when she held the belt up, the crowd actually cheered for that. So I'm happy for her in that regard, and I can't wait. Like once Bayley shows up and we move on to Becky versus Bayley, I can't wait to see what they do with Lyra to build on this momentum that she got in this championship match. The next match after that was the Men's Intercontinental Championship match. Dirty Dom Mysterio versus Miro, like Penta. And I didn't realize that he fought Penta, because he said in the press conference, he said he fought Penta 3 times. I didn't realize he fought his ass 3 times. But, it was a good one-on-one match. Everybody and their mama knows that Penta should have won this shit if it was a straight-up one-on-one. But the Judgment Day showed up, interference by the Judgment Day. And when the referee saw the Judgment Day interfering and tried to kick the Judgment Day out, then that's when Grande Americano showed up, and he headbutted Penta off the top rope. He did the whole with the steel plate inside the mask thing. He hit him with the headbutt, and he knocked him off the top rope, and then he went crashing to the floor. And after he went crashing to the floor, Dominic hit the splash, and he got the 1, 2, 3. So I guess now we're gonna move on to like Penta versus Grande Americano. I swear to God, because we're doing Worlds Collide. It's supposed to be NXT versus AAA. I think in July or something. I swear to God, if Grande Americano main events this this pay-per-view, I'm gonna die. And I like it's racist as hell, but I like it. Kind of like I do enjoy it. I'm sorry to say, but this shit is funny. And now came the Pat McAfee versus Gunther match. It's weird because Gunther needed to get a strong win back after losing to Jey Uso at WrestleMania. But at the same time, you don't want to bury Pat McAfee either. Otherwise, nobody will ever take him seriously again. But at the same time, in order for Gunther to get the respect put back on his name, he kind of has to kill the guy. So, I think they did the best thing they could have possibly did. Nobody cares about Michael Cole. I don't give a shit. Michael Cole is trash. Like he's the worst announcer. He forgets the moves half the time. I don't like Michael Cole at all. I thought Wade Barrett was funny because when he was just because the thing is, Michael Cole was like, oh, I'm going to be unbiased. Like you've done that like so many times. But, Wade Barrett, he was just like, I've got your back, Cole. I got your back. And then when Cole came from behind the table to go to the ring to go talk to Pat McAfee. And then that's when Wade Barrett, he was like, yo, I can't support you now, Cole. You're on your own. And then Gunther snatched up Michael Cole at one point. I wish he would have hit him or choked him out or something. And then Michael Cole cheated in favor of Pat McAfee to try to get Pat McAfee to win the match. Like he pulled his foot out from under him and tried to hold on to his foot. But Gunther kicked out of everything. It was like weird, like the baby facers were like cheating to win the entire time, and the heel was the one that was fighting fair and square. But in the end, he was able to defeat Pat McAfee, got him to pass out, and then after that, Michael Cole got in the ring, and then I think he was going to smack him up again, but then Pat slowly got to his feet. And then surprise, surprise, because although Pat McAfee, he didn't kill him. He beat his ass like something fierce, but he didn't kill him. So the only way to put the respect back on Pat McAfee's name, Gunther acknowledged him after the match was over as to say, like, hey, I thought this was going to be like easy pickings. I thought I was going to steamroll you, but you actually put up a fight. And for you putting up a fight and standing up like a man, I give you respect for that. And then he left. Then Gunther left. So, Michael Cole said, I feel responsible for this, and you should, because this was your fault. The entire thing was your fault. He got his ass beat because of you. And, I feel like this is over now. There's no reason for them to fight again. And now that Gunther's back to being, like the beast that he is, maybe something new will be for him on the horizon. Finally, the main event, John Cena versus young Randall, like Randy Orton. And the two of them put on, like a classic John Cena, Randy Orton match. Sadly, we knew John Cena was going to win, but it was how he won, which was crazy because there was a moment where Randy Orton went for the punt kick, and then everybody and their mama tried to come out to stop Randy Orton from doing the punt kick. And then one of the people that stopped him was R-Truth. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, R-Truth was just like, don't punt kick my childhood hero and everything. And then Randy Orton RKO'd. He RKO'd like half the ring. And then he RKO'd R-Truth. And he was like, what are you doing? Like, what the hell's your point? Like, what are you doing that for? And then John Cena kicked him in the nuts. And then, hit him with the hit him with the attitude adjustment. And then there's going to be a lot of nut shots from John Cena as he defends this championship. And then John Cena, like, thanks to the unofficial assist from R-Truth, John Cena retains the WWE Undisputed Heavyweight Championship. John Cena made Alicia Taylor resort his entire resume during that introduction. She said he made this woman say, from Newbury, Massachusetts, the greatest of all time, the 17-time champion, the only real champion left in WWE, the man that all your kids admire. Like this woman went down his entire resume, and I thought that shit was fucking hilarious. And then, but then, after that, like I said, he won the match, and then, he addressed the fans, and he almost kind of felt bad. Like, it was a moment where, because the fans were booing the shit out of him because they were in Randy Orton's hometown. But then when John Cena won the match and he was leaving and he was going back into the curtain, everybody started chanting, "Thank you, Cena." And when the fans started chanting, "Thank you, Cena," Cena kind of like had this look on his face like he almost felt bad for being shitty to the people, but then he went to the locker room, and then when he did the post interview at the press conference, he apologized to the media for being an asshole to them, and he said that he would answer all of their questions. And then right before they had a chance to answer any questions, R-Truth shows up to ask John Cena about what happened in the ring, and then he was just like, yeah, Randy Orton didn't have any business, doing that to you after he RKO'd you so many times and embarrassed you. And then John Cena got mad, and he put R-Truth through the table at the press conference. So I guess we're back to business as usual. So he even interrupted Triple H to do it. And that was basically how the pay-per-view ended. It was Big E's, they acknowledged that Big E's getting married to Mia Yim's sister. I'm still waiting for the New Day to run up on him at the announcer's table, because that's going to be fucking funny. But, share your questions, comments, and concerns down below. That was WWE Backlash. I enjoyed it, and thank you for tuning in. I had no problem with it being a 5-match pay-per-view, just based on like how everything turned out. I was honestly okay with that. Maybe I could have did with 6 matches, but like I said, whatever we didn't get tonight, we're most likely going to get at WWE main event, which takes place Memorial Day weekend, which is my birthday weekend. My birthday is actually the day of NXT that week, so we'll see as we review some more wrestling for all you wrestling fans. Evolve has new men's and women's championship belts. I feel like they're a little small. They need to be the middle plate needs to be a little bigger, but that belt has Callie Armstrong's name written all over it. Tatiana Dumas got robbed at LFG. She should have been the standout. And knowing WWE, they're probably going to give the contract to the blonde girl, and that blonde chick is not the best wrestler in that LFG group. But I digress. I'm waiting for Jakara Jackson, Cora Jade, Gigi Dolan, etc. I'm waiting for these people to show up on TNA. I'm ready to get my TNA subscription once they pop up. And I said, and I'm still looking forward to seeing what happens on the world of WWE and everything in between. So share your questions, comments, and concerns. What did you guys think about WWE Backlash? I give it a yay. I say the yay. I thought it was good, and I look forward to what they have for us on Monday Night Raw. Check me out all over social media. Check me out on Instagram, on Twitter X. Check me out on TikTok, where you can leave your questions, comments, and concerns. And like I said, we'll just keep rolling on for some more of this wrestling, and then like I said, we'll review the pay-per-views and all the special events at the end of this month. So that was it, guys. So thanks for tuning in. So for more wrestling action, the final time in St. Louis is now, and until then, we're out this.